Okay, so for this next scene, you're going to take that boat there and smash it right into this girl's face.
You know, that doesn't really sound like a good idea.
Excuse me, Mr. Del Toro, but it seems that there's one thing that this movie is clearly missing. And that's me.
No, I'm pretty sure that, we got enough kaijus. Thanks, though.
Okay, well, can I maybe be in the Hellboy sequel? I'm a giant lizard, so, I'd kind of fit in. I'd let him punch me.
You know, Hellboy 3 isn't gonna happen, right?
Well, duh. I'm not in the movie. I'd make it like 3 out of 5 stars? I'm gonna say 4. We're gonna be positive today.
Okay, you know what? I might have one role for you.
I'd do it. Alright, guys, I'm all ready for my close-up, and, hello?
Detonation at T-minus.
You know, when I thought he meant that I was the bomb, I thought he meant I was super cool, but, I guess I was mistaken.
5, 4,
Joke's on him, I've been through worse. Have you seen Godzilla Final Wars?
Hey, man, just look at Super On Board Reviews. My name is Steve, and today I'll be going over the NECA San Diego Comic-Con 2018 exclusive Guillermo Del Toro figure. This was one of the iconic exclusives for this year, which was super excited to see because I love me some Guillermo Del Toro films, specifically Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy 2, and Pacific Rim, which, funny enough, they make figures for all of those, so super sweet, and also be super sweet to have him posing with those figures. Sadly, the Pan's Labyrinth stuff isn't out yet, and I have to find me some Hellboys. I got Pacific Rim, though, so we're going to work with it. So yeah, decided to snap this guy up, especially since he's a claw figure and everything. Thought it'd be kind of cool having him posing with the Jaegers and whatnot. So anyways, without further ado, first, packaging, fairly mute in terms of coloring, but you can see the figure very nicely inside of the package. You got Guillermo Del Toro with what I'm assuming is his autograph on the bottom, done in a nice metallic silver. Same with on the sides of the packaging. Top, more Guillermo Del Toro. On the back just shows him holding his books. Got a stone. And some stuff on the bottom. If you guys want to pause it real quick to read it, I will let you. But again, you can just pause it. And some legal mumbo jumbo on the bottom. So let's get him opened up out of his cardboard prison. Alright, so now that we got Guillermo Del Toro opened up out of his cardboard prison, first we're going to go over his one accessory. Starting with just one accessory. We're not starting with literally anything. It's one and then the end. But anyways, what we have here is a book. Now, I was trying to look up some information because I thought the cover looks familiar from something I've seen in like a YouTube video or something, maybe of his house. Oh god, I just was looking at videos. What the heck is his house called? I forget. Bleak House? I think it was Bleak House. Anyways, looking at his book that he released, Cabinet of Curiosities, where it's a compilation of all of his like notebooks and pretty much any little things he's written down. You can actually find these 2 pages in there, which these are specifically notes from Pan's Labyrinth, which is really sweet. Like, I especially like you can open up to a section of the book and bam, here you go. And plus they're going to be releasing Pan's Labyrinth figures anyways, so really neat to see. Thing is if you open up the book for the Curiosities, these are on different pages, and it might have been nice to maybe have seen like a little bit more variety in like terms of what you see when you open it up. Maybe have like one side Pan's Labyrinth, one side pretty much any of his other films, because I know they're doing like Shape of Water, like maybe something from that. I don't know if he's really released anything of those yet, but just what I'm getting at is just maybe having a little bit more variety when you open the book. The other thing, because initially when I do these videos, I usually do photos after I've done the reviews. This one, it's actually taken me a while to get actually sitting down to do some of these reviews, and I already did the photos for this. And one thing I noticed is because essentially these pages are just stickers, when you're getting them to grip onto the sides, it's already starting to kind of wear the little sticker off a little bit. So if you're going to have him holding the book open, definitely make sure to take your time and make sure he's not peeling back some of the pages. But the book's just done in a nice leather brown coloring. Nothing too much else to really say about it. You can kind of see some extra little page sections here and there. So, especially when it's closed, it has like a nice little book page appearance anyways. It also kind of gives it a little bit more of like a used feel to it. which he can hold pretty nicely. You kind of got to bend his hands a little bit in order to get it in there. But once you get him holding it, holds it pretty good. Well, for the most part anyways. There we go. Holding it very nicely. And then the other hand is just kind of here. But outside of that, no other accessories, no extra hands, no faces, nothing. But getting into Guillermo Del Toro for the head sculpt, looks really nice. You got a little bit of aging here where you have some frosting on the side of the hair. You have his trademark black glasses, mustache, beard. Eyes look very nice. It looks like Guillermo Del Toro. The only thing I noticed that's maybe a critique for the head is in some of the just seeing him like walking around doing some of the tours and stuff, he has like a little bald spot back here, which for the figure doesn't have it, which I'm not going to complain. I know I wish I had more hair, so if NECA made a figure of me and gave me more hair on the top of my head, I'd appreciate it too. But I don't know if that's still a thing. I just know in some of the videos I've seen, it appeared to me anyways. But outside of that, still a really nice looking head sculpt. That and for the plastic used for the glasses, to me they seem a little foggy. Which isn't a bad thing, but it just kind of definitely changes the contrast with the skin and what you see coming through the glasses here. But still overall very nicely done for the head sculpt. For the body is covered entirely in cloth fabric, which is really nice. For the most part, the stitching is done very well on all this. The only thing I've really noticed is on the undersection here, the cuts could maybe have been a little bit cleaner out of the packaging, but nothing on a little pair of scissors can't fix. You can see on this side, it looks perfectly fine. It's just this side's not quite as clean as it could be. But you have his undershirt on the inside, which does go actually in under the jacket, which is really cool. I haven't tried taking this off because I'm kind of scared. I imagine that's kind of like a t-shirt underneath, because I don't think that goes all the way through. Nope, you can see the stitching for me right there. Yep, just a little t-shirt. And then he's got this little white shirt on the undersection here. And pockets, no official pockets, just little flaps, but still give the illusion, so work really nicely for that. On the back, nothing too much going on here. Same with his pants, are also done in a black, stitched very nicely though. They're held on with a strap here, which it's actually pretty convenient, because I noticed when articulating him, his pants like to slide down on him. Maybe could have used a belt somewhere on here, but still works pretty nice. So you'll have to adjust this periodically if you guys are going to have this outside of the box. I also want to point out too that he's fluffy. He's definitely got some stuffing on the inside of here to give him a little bit more mass, which is appropriate for Del Toro. If anything, like, some of the stuff I've seen, I guess it depends on the era of Del Toro. It depends on how much stuffing you would put into there. But still gives him a really nice shape to him. Like, it's very distinctly Del Toro. And then for his shoes are just black shoes. Nothing too fancy, just of the dress variety. And for the skin coloring for his hands, exact same as his face. With a little bit of detailing here for the nails. But nothing too crazy. Now, want to point this out, and I understand. I get it. It's a cloth figure. The undersection, because the reason why they stuffed this and this isn't actually molded is because it's just one uniform body that I imagine that they use for a lot of these cloth figures, where it's just the exact same figure, but they just kind of pack it differently and underneath the clothing in order to pretty much make the overall body definition that you need. So, my complaint is, why is it a different color than his skin, though? And again, I get it. It's going to be cloth. You're not going to see it too often. But especially for the arms, and if you rotate his head here, you'll see it here for the neck as well. So if you go to articulate his head remotely at all, it's going to show up. Same with the arms. The way the cloth folds as you're bending the elbows and what have you. The forearm's going to show up as well. One quick little fix, it would even have been they would have needed to use a different body, I'm A-okay with this. But just like for the forearm and the neck here, maybe could use a little bit of paint. Or possibly when they were pouring the molding for the body here, just used a color more akin to the hand skin. Because in terms of like articulating this, and like you guys see at the end of the videos, I do a lot of photos, and it's a lot of adjusting to try to get it to look right. Because anytime you're going to take photos or pose them on your shelf, you really don't want that showing up. So, especially in these two areas here, could use a little bit of paint. For the legs, though, as you can see, exact same. But the way the pants are designed, when you are articulating him, they aren't going to show up. So for the legs, they didn't really need it. But for areas, like what they need to do is when designing these figures and before they ship them out, really need to spend a little bit of time and just play around with the figures and pay attention to these areas here that are going to be showing up and definitely very noticeable in terms of just playing around with the figures. Because not everybody's going to be buying this guy just to keep in the box. Like so. So, these, especially at his hefty price tag of, I think I paid $50 for this guy. Definitely could use some paint there, especially with the lack of accessories. A little bit more thought could have been put into this. For the articulation, because like for the head, can you look up about that far, down about that far, side to side. Arms can go up about that far, down about that far. You can't really rotate them all the way around because of the way the cloth adjusts. So if you can, well, I guess you can, but you have to sit here and play around with it. But you can rotate it all the way around. Doesn't feel like there's a forward and back. It's bent at the elbows. Hand can rotate a little forward, a little back. For the waist, not too much. You can rotate a little bit side to side, but the fabric gets in the way there. For legs, can go forwards about that far. Backwards about that far. Little bit of rotation at the top, nothing too crazy. Bend at the knee. No rotation at the feet, but they can go a little bit forward and back. So not the craziest thing in terms of articulation, especially for a NECA action figure as well. So especially with it being a little bit more downgraded in terms of overall sculpting and what you really need to make this figure work, it could have had a little more paint. Just as an editor's note, I just want to leave this little bit here where you can see in the prototype photos that his arms are the same color as his hands. I just want to leave this here for people. It's just kind of weird that they didn't use the same coloring for the plastic for the final release. And for some quick comparisons, here we have the NECA Guillermo Del Toro compared next to arguably my favorite film he's done, with some NECA Pacific Rim figures with Hong Kong Brawl, Gypsy Danger, and Crimson Typhoon. And here's compared next to one of his other creations with the Mezco Hellboy from Hellboy 2 and the brown version of the NECA Warrior Alien from Aliens. And here's compared next to some other San Diego Comic-Con NECA figures with the 6-inch scale 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. Also got the giant New York City diorama display to go with them. And for some stuff you'd probably enjoy too, here he is next to the NECA's Friday the 13th Part 2 Ultimate Jason and the Bandai Legacy Collection Dino Megazord. And because we know Guillermo Del Toro loves himself some Godzilla, we have him here next to the 1954 Godzilla and, well, he might not love this one, but the Trapmasters 1998 Nuclear Bite Godzilla. Or Nuclear Strike Godzilla? I think it was Nuclear Strike. Oh, I saw Nuclear Bite. Moving on. So, in the end, for the NECA San Diego Comic-Con Guillermo Del Toro claw figure, this figure is meh, to say the least. Looking it back up, this guy would have retailed at the time $40, plus it was about like $10, so $50 after shipping. Now, you're looking more probably between $70 to $80 to try to acquire this guy, if you're going through, say, eBay. For that price, I don't really think this guy's worth it. Like at $40, I'm having a hard time with it in terms of what he comes with and what the figure really presents itself as an action figure. Now, as a display piece, I still actually fairly enjoy this figure. Personally, I'd say if you guys are going to be looking to pick this guy up, you're probably just better off leaving him in the box. Just keep them in the package, stick them next to your other Pacific Rim, Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy figures, and call it a day. Because generally when I buy action figures, I buy them because I want to display them and pose them and kind of just have fun with them, which is why I really like doing these photos at the end of these videos. But this guy, in terms of that, just lacks definitely in that regard. But as a really solid representation of a director that I really love in my collection, this figure actually still does a really nice job of that. So if you guys are looking to pick this up, again, I'm not opposed to it. It's not a bad figure, but it's definitely not something to really display by itself outside of the package. It really needs to either have a purpose to be outside of your package in your collection, like displaying with a bunch of your Pacific Rim stuff, doing things, or your Hellboy stuff. But just as a solitary figure, he's definitely better off being kept in his cardboard prison. But what do you guys think? If you guys picked up this Guillermo Del Toro figure, what's your favorite film by this guy? Or is Michael Bay just more you think? Please let us know in the comments. Look closer pictures of this guy on our Facebook. You want to click the link in the description below. We also have a Patreon account if you guys would like to help support the channel. Also down in the description. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. See you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.